Hey everyone, this is Officer Jerry Patrick, and I'm here to talk to you guys today about the Standard Response Protocol. And that is for all emergency situations and how we're going to react in each situation. Our first safety action that we're going to talk about today is lockout. If we have to call a lockout, the reason why we would do that is because there's something going on around the neighborhoods, somewhere close by the school, where we need to make sure that nobody enters our building. And during a lockout, no one is allowed into the building or out of the building. It's like a big force field around, and we just have to make sure that all the doors are completely secure. And so we're going to continue with business as usual inside the building. So you're going to continue to stay in your class. There's nothing to be worried about. There is no threat to anyone inside of our building at the time. But there could be sort of like there could be a fire in the neighborhoods nearby, and we just don't want people from that scene maybe coming over onto our property and entering the building. It could be a bank robbery in the area. A suspect maybe last seen running this way. And so, or maybe we have a traffic stop in a parking lot and it's a dangerous situation, so we want to, lock everybody out of the building. And so we would call a lockout. And how you'll hear it, it'll be given twice over the intercom. It'll be lockout, secure the perimeter, lockout, secure the perimeter. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're just going to make sure all the doors are locked, and the only thing that you guys need to worry about is just your classes and whatever you guys are doing at the time. How we know that the situation has ended is if, or when you guys hear an all clear, again, it'll be given twice over the intercom. All right, and that'll be for our lockout. Our next safety action is hold. A hold is going to be when we need to clear the hallways of all students and staff. It could be for a medical emergency for a student, or maybe even one of the staff members. It could be for some sort of spill or a mess in the hallways that we just don't want everybody to be around. And we just need to clear the hallways. There's no threat. There's nothing to be afraid of during a hold. But we just need to clear the hallways. So what we need you guys to do is, if you're in the hallway, report to that next class or whatever class you're supposed to be going to. You go straight there, and we're going to what we call hold in our class, hold in the class. That's what you'd hear over the intercom. Business as usual. You're just not going to be able to go from class period to class period. So if the bell were to ring, you're going to stay right where you're at until you hear the all clear, all clear. During that situation or that time, if you're in the cafeteria, you're going to stay in the cafeteria. If you're in the library, you're going to stay in the library. Wherever you're at during a hold, you're going to stay put until you hear the all clear 2 times. Our next safety action that we're going to talk about is shelter. We would use this in 2 different situations, shelter for a tornado or shelter for an earthquake. During a shelter for a tornado, it'll be giving over the PA 2 times. What we need you guys to do is line up quickly at the door. The teacher is always going to lead the class out of the classroom and to your designated areas around the building, wherever it may be. So during a tornado, you guys are going to go out into the hallway to your area. You're going to squat down. You're going to face the lockers, and then we're going to do that little safe tuck position where we're facing the lockers down on your knees, and you're going to put your hands over your head and you're going to tuck to protect yourself. While you guys are walking out there, we just need everybody to be very, very quiet. Stay with your class. Do not mix with another class, because we need to gain what we call accountability. We got to make sure that every student is where they're supposed to be with that class period, okay? And so when we get out there, your teacher is going to do a real quick head count, make sure that they have everybody, and they're going to let the administration know, or they're going to let us know that everybody's there. And how that will be lifted again is by an all clear over the PA. The same thing with an earthquake. You will hear earthquake given twice, and then what we're going to do is we're going to get underneath our desks or whatever bigger table that's near you, and the whole idea is to protect our head, our necks, and our spines. And so some of these desks, wherever you're at, they might not be very big, but you just got to make sure that we cover your head and your neck and your spine. Okay, you're going to stay there, listen for your teacher's instruction, and then we will lift that with an all clear, all clear. Our next safety action is evacuate. There are a couple of different things we would use an evacuate for. One would be if there's some sort of like gas leak in our building and we need to get everybody out of here and we need to get everybody outside. So evacuating is getting just everybody from one place to the next. And how we would do that is you'd hear evacuate to, and then we would give you guys a location, whether it be the gym or it be a certain area of the parking lot or maybe a park, whatever is nearby. Okay, so we would say evacuate to, again, always given twice. How you guys are going to line up quickly at the door, quietly. You're not going to be able to take all this stuff, all your belongings with you. So obviously we're not going to take our books. If you have a backpack, you're staying right where it's at. The only thing that we would be able to let you take at the time, if you have it on you, is a cell phone. That's it. So you're going to line up at the door. The teacher is going to lead you from your classroom to your designated area outside the building or wherever location that we're going to evacuate to. All right. And again, it could be for a gas leak. It could be for some other thing going on in the school that we just need to get out of the building. Another reason we would use an evacuate was for a fire drill. So we're not going to say evacuate. You're going to hear the siren go off, and you're going to see the white light start blinking. In that situation, that's our signal to get up and evacuate out of the building. And everyone should know exactly where they're going to go outside the building, whatever class, depending on what class that you're in. Okay. Again, your teacher will always lead the class out of the building, or out of your room and then out of the building, if that's where you're going to go. Our next safety action is lockdown. A lockdown is going to replace what we have used in the past as our code red. A lockdown will be called if there's a threat in our building. Okay. And I would even venture to say if there was a threat even outside of our building, just on our property, and there's some sort of threat to either us, the students, staff, visitors, whoever it may be. The whole idea during a lockdown is to get out of sight as quickly as possible and behind a locked door. Okay, that is your goal. That should be your number one goal, is to get away from whatever the threat is. Okay, so we always want to. The first thing you should do is just avoid whatever the threat is. Ideally, if you are in the classroom, we'll go through it, piece by piece. So the first thing, if you're in your classroom and you hear lockdown, you'll hear locks, lights, and out of sight. Lockdown, locks, lights, and out of sight. The first thing we want to do is we're going to get up and we're going to go to whatever corner of the classroom or room that you're in that you cannot see the window and the door. Okay, if you can see the window and the entry door that you come into that room, then you're in a bad spot. You need to find somewhere else to go. Okay. The teacher, while you guys are getting to the side, and even if there is no teacher, we all still need to get to the side, and then somebody needs to go over there and shut the door, turn the lights off, and make sure that the door is locked. Okay. The teachers are if they're in the room, they're going to do is they're going to look out in the hallway. Whoever's in the hallway at the time is going to be brought into your classroom. So it'll be all your class, and you could have maybe 2 or 3 other classes all file into this room. But as long as everybody's behind a locked door, that's what the whole point of it is. So it doesn't matter how many kids or students, staff are in the room that you're in, as long as we get people behind a locked door. Again, if you're in the hallway during a lockdown, run to the nearest classroom, the door that might be open. If you get nervous and you turn around and you look, and it might be a bathroom that you're running to. If kids are going to freeze, if there's someone around that's just going to stop and they're not sure what to do because now they're nervous, whether they see a threat or hear the threat around them at the time, we know that there are people who are just going to get nervous and they're not sure what to do. If you see someone like that, you got to help the other students out. They don't need to be a best friend, but they're a classmate or somebody in this building. So if you see somebody that's kind of nervous, they don't know what to do, grab a hold of them and then pull them with you, okay? And pull them into whatever room that you're going into. If you happen to go into a bathroom, again, if you feel like that, you can get out and you don't hear anything going on around you and you can get to a room that has a locked door, then great. But if you're already in there, turn out the lights, and if not, what we're also teaching everybody is called out of sight, out of mind. So if you're in there, maybe we had kids that would stand on the toilet. A suspect or a threat would come in and they would see all right, there's nobody in here, and they would continue to move on. A couple of things when we have threats inside of one of our, in any building, in school, in a situation like this, they're usually looking for someone specific, or they're just trying to, just find whoever they see to mess with them. And so out of sight, out of mind. If they don't see you, they're not thinking about you. And so that's why we need to clear the hallways and turn the lights off and get in the corners and put ways to deny their access into the rooms as well. So we want to avoid the threat. We want to deny access into the rooms, okay? If you happen to hear somebody, if something's going on in the hallway outside the room that you're in, then maybe put some desks in front of that door, maybe move a bigger desk in front of it, cabinets, whatever it might be, but you got to protect yourself and everybody in that room, okay? If there is truly a threat in there and you hear somebody out in the hallway, whatever room that you're in. One very, very important thing that we have to always remember is do not ever, ever, ever open the door for anyone who is knocking outside trying to get in. In these situations, the police or the administration will always open the door for you. During the drills, we're going to be here, all the police departments are going to be helping us out with it, and so whatever school that we're at, we're going to have several police officers and then the principals and maybe the counselors at that building were going to help us out with a drill. So they may unlock the door at that time, but we were never going to open the door for anyone. We will always open the door for you, okay? And the reason being is because in a real situation, the police would be the only ones opening the door. We're going to come in, we're going to knock, okay? I'm going to knock, I'm going to announce myself, I'm going to knock again, I'm going to announce myself. And that's exactly what our police officers are trained to do. As soon as they unlock the door, we're going to open the door up, and I'm going to probably show you guys my hands as I walk in, and I'm going to say, hey, it's Officer Patrick, I'm coming in. It's Officer Patrick, I'm coming in. So once I'm inside the room, I'm going to tell you and whoever else is in the room with you, I will just give you, hey, this is the situation. Now we need to evacuate out of the building, okay? And I'll give you exact instructions on how to evacuate. If the teacher's in there, the teacher, again, is going to lead. During a police evacuation, you will not be able to take anything with you. The only thing that you'll be able to have is your cell phone if you have it with you. We're not trying to go to lockers or anything like that, but we're having everybody line up single file, and then what I need everybody to do is to hold their hands up just like this. And so that way we can see the palms of your hands and your arms are up like that. And that's for the police officers that are in the hallway and we're evacuating and help you guys out. That's so we know that there is no threat to any of us. You know, we're there to help you guys. You know, we're not trying to make anybody nervous or try to, you know, put fear in anyone. But, you know, us even responding to these scenes and these situations, you know, we're afraid too. And we just want to make sure that, you know, we're protecting ourselves and each other. So by showing us your hands and your arms are up, we know that we're safe at that time. So as you guys go out in the hallway, we're going to give you directions on how to get exactly either to the gym or to a cafeteria, wherever we're going to evacuate to, or most of the time it would be outside the building to a certain area, and maybe even to like a bus, okay? During the lockdown, if you're in your classroom or wherever location you might be, the teacher, if you have your cell phone, this is going to be something big for all of our middle schools and our high schools, is if you have your cell phone on you at that time, we're not going to leave the room and go get it, but if you have your cell phone on you at the time, then we're going to take turns texting your mom and dad and let them know that you're okay. So the teacher will give you exact instructions. They're going to say, you 4 or 5, you have your cell phones, you text your mom and dad, let them know that you're in this room and that you're safe and that we're in a lockdown, and that, you know, I will text you again in every 10 minutes from this point on, okay? And we're just kind of hoping that that will free up some of the traffic, the waves in the air as far as when it comes to cell phone service and internet service. In these big situations like that, it always drops. So cell phone service usually drops and the internet service usually goes down. And so what we're hoping is that the first responders will be able to get through, because we use our cell phones and our radios, you know, is based off of those frequencies in the air too. Okay, so we just want to make sure that we can try to free up as much space as that we can. All right, and that also gives you guys, we're hoping, it gives every one of you, whoever has their phone on them, a chance to get a hold of their mom and dad, make you feel a little bit more comfortable about it, and let your mom and dad also know that you're safe. They know the situation is going down, but it lets them know that at least where you're at in the building and that you're safe behind a locked door. Okay. During a lockdown, if the fire alarm goes off, okay, we are staying put. No matter where you're at, you're going to stay exactly where you're at during a fire alarm. We don't know for sure if it's a true active fire or not. You know, we get false fire alarms quite a bit, and if there's a lot of things that are going on in the hallways at the time during a lockdown, then it could trigger these fire alarms. It could be a false fire alarm. So unless we hear it, see it, or smell fire, we're going to stay right where we're at, okay? And this is something to think about. Sometimes you may be in a room where a teacher is, or you might be in a room where there is not, it's just students. But you got to make that decision together and say, all right, if I don't hear, see, or smell smoke, we got to stay right where we're at. We're not leaving. And then once we do, our first option to get out of that room is, if you have a classroom that has windows to the outside, that will be your first option to get out. Now, whether if they have a handle to open the window or not, if there is no latches or there's no way to open that window from the inside, then you have to find something in the room then we're giving you permission. You got to break that window. If there's a fire coming by you, then we definitely give you permission to break the window any way you can, as safely as you can. Just be careful, and you got to help each other out of that room, because again, we have to be there for each other in these situations. But we got to get everybody out too. Okay, so help each other. Some kids are going to be very easy to get through the window, and some people are going to need help. But that's where it takes every single one of you guys in that room to come together as a group and help each other, okay? If you do not have a window access to the outside, and say you're in the middle portion of whatever building that we're in, okay, and there is no windows at all, and the only way out of that room is the door, then we're going to line up at the door. And again, whether there's a teacher or not, somebody's going to have to step up and take charge of that, and you got to make a decision. And the decision is going to be this: where is the nearest exit? Where is the nearest exit? Okay. And once you figure out where that is, let everybody know and say, we're going to count to 3. We're going to open this door, and we're going to go straight to this location outside of the building. Okay. We need to get to that door out to get out of the building as fast as possible. Now, when we open the door, the fire could be, in that way. So instead of stopping and thinking, okay, well, now the fire's blocking now, what do we do? What do we do? If you stand there too long, you're going to freeze, okay? And the longer that we stand there, the more people are going to freeze. So continue to keep just moving. You got to keep flow going. And so grab whoever is kind of like, nervous, scared. We all are going to be, but you got to help the people who are kind of just stuck there. You grab a hold of them and you're going to start pulling the other way. And you're going to pull to the opposite direction. Just, you guys everyone knows your building that you are part of. And so you guys just got to find the way out as quickly as possible and help each other out, okay? The first responders that are coming there, what we are going to do when we get there is we're going to what we call direct a threat. Whatever the threat might be in the building, we are going to that location to try to stop whatever is going on, okay? We're going to detain it, contain it in that area, okay? So we might not be able to help you guys get out at that time. And that's why you're all old enough and mature enough to be able to get out on your own. And, we believe in you guys. You guys got to believe in each other and believe in yourself that you can do that. Okay? Now, going back to the police officers coming into the building, once we get there and we contain it, what we're going to do is we are going to tell the other officers that are responding to the scene, responding to the school, because there's going to be police officers and firemen coming from all over Lake County. And even in Illinois, when they hear the call that we have something going on and we need help, they're going to send people over, okay? And so they're going to come, and once they hear that we've got it contained inside, they're going to send officers to a couple locations, what we call rally points outside of the school, okay? And how those kids that are going to be there in those areas, how that will all play out is if you happen to be going down the hallway or wherever you're at and the lockdown's called or you're around a threat's going on and you're by an exit door, then just run outside. Okay, again, that's something that's going to be a little bit different that we're teaching everybody, but we have it set up so that way you guys stay as safe as possible. What we want you to do is if you're by a door and you can get out of the school and there's a threat in that building, then we give you that permission to get outside, and you're going to go to a couple locations. You can go to one of several locations that are outside of each building. Every middle school, every elementary school, and the high school all have at least 2, and some buildings have 3 these rally points. Okay, and the police officers are going to meet you at those rally points. It'll be teachers. That could be teachers there. It could be parents that were visiting at the time, but they're all going to go to those locations. And then obviously there'll be a lot of students that'll be at those locations. All right. What we don't want you guys to do though is if a lockdown's called, that you run all the way down the hallway. You're passing all these classrooms and open doors just to get out of the building. The quickest that you can do, the first action, the closest thing that you can, way that you could react, that's what you need to do. You need to get inside of a classroom and lock the door, okay? That is a proven time barrier. In all these active shooter situations and all these threats that we've had across our country, people just don't take the time to try to unlock a locked door, okay? They just don't take time because they know that the police are coming and there's a lot of us coming to stop them from whatever's going on, okay? So the rally points are different locations, and the teachers will have a map of every single one of those rally points in each of the classrooms in every building in a corporation. Okay? So even if you were visiting at the high school one day and something happened, if you happen to be in a classroom, the teacher will have those right there for you in the classroom, okay? If you happen to run from the school and you get outside and you don't go to that rally point because maybe you live like really close by the building that wherever you go to school at, and you run home because you're nervous, you're scared, we understand that, and that's probably going to happen sometimes. But we want everyone to know that we have to gain accountability. We have to keep track of every single student wherever they're at. And so and the idea is to make sure that you guys are safe. And so if you happen to make it home or to a nearby friend's house or even a business that's nearby, okay, because you didn't stop at that rally point with everybody else and you were just nervous and you didn't know what to do, you panicked and you just went an opposite way. What you need to do is you need to check in with us as quickly as you can, okay? And so we have an email system that's set up for you guys to do that. It's safe@lcscmail.com. So it's a universal, it's for entire corporation, for Lake Central Schools. It's safe@lcscmail.com. Okay? So you would email us on that. We have principals that will be checking that throughout the entire time that everything is going on. And all you need to put on there is your name, the school, and your grade, and where you're at, and just make sure that your parents know what's going on. We're also going to teach that to your parents too. So that way, if your parents are home and you show up there because something happened, then we want your parents to help us out with that too. But our goal is, as a police and first responders, we're not leaving that scene. We're not leaving the school until we have accountability for every single student and staff member that was there that day. Okay? And by you guys helping us out, it's going to make our jobs a lot easier to get all that done.
Lockdown, lights, locks, out of sight.
Lockdown, guys, lockdown. Out of sight from the window. Back here behind the desk. Out of sight. Out of sight, guys, remain quiet. Over here, guys, over here. Over here. Out of sight. Back over here. Out of sight. Out of sight, remain quiet, guys, out of sight. Who has cell phones on them? 1, 2, 3, 4. Isaac, notify your parents right now that you're in a lockdown. Next 3 with the cell phones. 1, 2, 3. Notify your parents that you are in a lockdown and that you are safe. Remain quiet.
It's Officer Patrick, I'm coming in. It's Officer Patrick, I'm coming in. It's Officer Patrick, I'm coming in. Coming in. Hey guys, hey listen, we need to evacuate the building. Everything is fine right now. We've got everything secure, but we need to get everybody out of the building. So I'm gonna have everybody stand up. Mr. Skaggs is gonna lead you out of the class, but I need everybody to put their hands up like this, arms up, hands up. All right, just like that. Mr. Skaggs, it's gonna be single file out and just follow us out. We're gonna give you directions on where to go. There's gonna be a lot of police officers out here. Just listen to their direction and we'll get you guys out of here, okay? Follow this way. Go right down that way to the other officers, please.